Hey TJ, how are you?
How's it going, Perchin? I'm excited.
Good, good. Yeah, it's always good to see you. It's always good to talk to you. It's always good to have an interview with you because you have a lot to share. Your insights are always wonderful. So today, as you know, we're going to speak a bit about productivity. As a very productive person you are, I wanted to pick your brains on that as well. But before I start, I'd like to ask you to shortly introduce yourself to our audience, TJ.
Got it. Okay, Perchin. So I'm TJ Meagher. I'm a life purpose coach. I studied philosophy in university, and most of my life is really about helping people to discover and live their life purpose. This is what drives me. It makes me create a less nihilistic universe, and that is my purpose.
And I have met with TJ around last year. He came from New York while he was having a trip around the world, around Europe. That was before Corona, obviously. And he was a guest on my place in this couch, to be more specific, on couch surfing. But we have connected immediately. And since we're doing similar things, we had amazing conversations. I mean, I felt like an old friend visited me or a brother visited me. So then from then on, we hit it off and we're also cooperating a lot professionally. So I really appreciate, first of all, that you're in my life, TJ. I want to say that before everything else.
Thanks, Perchin. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like we definitely connected. I remember talking to you like like a big brother because you were so deep into speaking. So I was like, okay, this guy really has a lot to say. He's very passionate. So I loved connecting with you, especially super quickly too.
Likewise, likewise. It was a pleasure. And I'm glad that we're still in touch and we're not only being friends, we're also cooperating professionally. And again, as I told you, our topic today is about productivity. It's a big word. There's a lot to talk about, but I want to ask you on your understanding. Let's set the term straight first. What does being productive mean to you, TJ?
Got it. Well, productivity is being the best you can and doing the best you can, given your resources and your circumstances. So notice that I did not say anything about efficiency. I didn't say anything about achievement. And it's because I believe that productivity is really about produce. It's not about producing as much as you can. It's about the quality. More about the quality than the quantity. And if it wasn't, then the best musicians would be the ones that play the fastest. But it's about what we produce, not how much of what we produce. So being productive to me means doing what's important, saying no to what's not, and being your best along the way.
Fantastic. Yeah. I also am a keen believer on balance and quality over quantity, obviously. And the musician example was very good. And what about you, TJ? I want to ask you, do you consider yourself a productive person? And before I ask you to answer it, I want to just say this. I'm asking this question generally because a lot of productive people that do not have enough self-love, let's say, or self-compassion, sometimes they can be harsh to themselves. Regardless that they're productive above average, they might think that they're not, and they might be harsh to themselves on that matter as well. So there's a thin balance there. So what about you? I mean, I know you're a productive person, but how is your own feeling about this? And if your answer is yes, how are you being productive during a day or week or month?
Got it. Yeah, that's a great point. A lot of people they they're fueled by the wrong thing. The wrong fuel is pushing them forward, driving them forward. So it's great to be productive, but if it is fueled by fulfilling yourself, then you will never reach the feeling of being productive. Does it make sense? So for me, I do consider myself a productive person. And I think the characteristics of a productive person include self awareness, decisiveness, focus, fulfillment, just to name a few. And I use self awareness to discern and decide what to focus on next. And by being and doing what's important, I'm fulfilled and I produce the outcome I desire while retaining the emotional state I desire. So that is the key at the end is like I'm doing it while retaining the fulfillment, the wholeness while being productive. So it makes sense, right? Because if you do it where you're trying to fulfill yourself by being productive, then you're constantly trying to fill a void.
I always give this example on it's like a bucket with a hole at the bottom of it. It will never be full. water will always rain down, right? So the way you look at it and your perception is very, very, very important on that matter. And what about you, TJ? Tell me how you spend a day of yours, because I know you are a keen believer in balance. And how do you balance your day on being productive that is fulfilling for you? And also, meanwhile, do you feel like you're contributing to the world or your community enough?
It was it's a balance between organization and surrender. So I do a lot to keep myself organized, and I have a lot of things. As a businessman, I have a lot of things to consider and take care of, and so organization comes in for that part. And then when I do, and when I prioritize, then I release and surrender and throw everything else away and just focus on what I'm doing in that moment. So the way that I did this was by coming up and creating my own productivity planner that includes belief systems, includes daily plans with prioritization, and then some kind of balance sheet that I do that allows me to address all 8 aspects of the life wheel. I'm not sure if anyone is aware or knows about the life wheel, but basically it's categories of romance, career, education, fun, all these kind of parts of your life. So the way that I usually spend my day is make sure I'm productive by in the morning. I set my mind straight. I do physiology. I do some breath work. I do affirmations, auto suggestion documents that I also give to my clients, and just get myself in the right headspace. And then schedule my day and just go to work and try to focus, try to get all the distractions out and do one thing at a time and focus on that. So that's how I remain productive. At the end of the day, I always measure. I give some gratitude in my journal, and I measure how productive I was and what I neglected or what didn't get achieved or what took too long, and then uh, I reevaluate. And that's really it. So that's what keeps me balanced and not pushing myself too hard while still noticing what I am achieving and being grateful for it.
I like the part where you talk about the balance between organization and surrender as well. So when you don't do something because you don't feel like it or you don't have enough time, you're not too harsh on yourself then, I guess, right? You're just accepting it as it is and putting it to another day, another week, another time.
If I was perfect, then yeah, definitely I would, but sometimes I am harsh on myself. Like that's a reality. Everybody is like, you could have done better because everyone knows their own potential. But when I catch myself with self-awareness, then I have the option to do so.
Yeah, self-awareness is the beginning of everything, in my opinion as well. And TJ, let me ask you one final question. If I would come to you, if I was a person who didn't feel like I'm reaching my full potential and I wanted to be more productive, because I think it all starts with intention, right? You can't push someone to be productive if they don't want. And if I had this awareness, but I don't know how to go, and if I came to you as a coach and asked you, I want this, I want to reach my full potential, I want to be more productive, what would be one of the first things that you would suggest or recommend or say to me?
Well, since you said, as a coach, I will start off with saying that I would not give you advice. As a coach, I don't give advice. So I would instead prompt you to discover what is the priority. And then from the priority, you could learn to say no to all the rest of the good opportunities. That's one, right? As a coach, you got to know what you want and know what you want most to be able to say no to everything else to produce the outcome you want. Number two, I would say to decouple productivity from your self-worth, which is exactly what we said before, is to not attach your sense of wholeness to productivity. So if you're not achieving something for the day, don't think that, okay, I'm not whole, I'm not worthy. So that's number two. And then number three is to have a growth mindset. Don't let perfection stop you from progress, right? So productivity and self-improvement are a lifelong process, of skill development, of self-enhancement, self-actualization. So be patient, be consistent, and be faithful.
Great. And before we wrap up, then, again, there's a lot to talk about this topic, but I don't want to take too much of your time. And there was a great summary as well. Is there anything else that you would like to mention or say about this topic, TJ?
Be be forgiving of yourself, because it's very easy to have these concepts or to hear me talk and say, okay, got it, I'm going to go do this now for the rest of my life. Like, we're all human. We are all so much more common than we are separate. All the things that whoever's listening, is struggling with, know that I and Perchin and everyone else is also struggling with the doubts, the confidence, all that kind of stuff. So just know that, yeah, productivity, it's important, but treat yourself with kindness, and it's going to be much easier to be productive.
Exactly. Self-compassion goes a long way there, as well as awareness.
Yeah.
Well, TJ, I'm sure this conversation helped people to be a bit more aware on this. This is a long journey, but this is a fun journey, and it's a lifelong journey, as you said, with where you should have balance, love, and obviously faith there as well. And of course, listening to people like you also in my own personal journey takes me a long way. So I really appreciate your time here, TJ. I know we are going to do a lot of different interviews together in the future, but this was again amazing. Thank you so much, and see you later at another podcast or video.
Sounds good, Perchin. Thank you so much for having me. Take care, man.
It's my pleasure. Take care, man.